Yeah.
I get it's this is hold on. You know what? Screw you, StreamYard. Let's do it.
New York Revival, I'm in the building.
Let's go.
Live with the Revival!
Let's go.
Oh, that felt so much better. It feels like I'm ready to go after that. You know what I mean? But peace and blessings. It is your boy, Eli Rax, a.k.a. Vibes, and welcome to New York Revival, where it's not just sports, it's entertainment. And I'm here with my brothers, man. You guys know who they are, and that's Mr. Glass Half Full of Nets.
Speed the genius. Let's go.
Always boxing today.
And of course, my brother El Jefe, aka White Jersey, aka Blue Jersey, aka El Shefe is in the building here today. Guys, shout out to you guys, man. So much going on, not really. In Giants land. So much going on in Giants land. Of course, we got Speed of Genius. We got El Jefe here, man, to kind of break this stuff down, and myself to put a little sprinkle on top. These guys are the foundation. I'm just the roof of the house. They built this whole thing, all right? But Speed, man, tell them who the Giants signed, man, and let's get a breakdown of it.
Paulson Adebo, welcome to the New York Giants. 6'1", 192, 25 years old. And listen, the numbers, I don't know if you guys can find the numbers because they're all over the map. I'm going to go and say the most realistic numbers I've seen is 3 years, $54 million. Now, everybody's going to be like, hey, that seems like an overpay. That makes him the 13th highest paid cornerback. If you're paying it, you're going to free agency, and we've talked about the destination where we're not particularly desirable right now. You got a guy that wants to come to New York City. He said he's ready to come to New York City. 13th highest paid. When I look at that, 25 years old, I'm fine with that, man. If you get a Pro Bowl level cornerback at 25, I'm fine with those numbers like that, and that's what he was trending to be. He's got 10 picks over 4 years, lots of ball production, and he's a tackling machine. Plays tough against the run. He plays tough man defense. Bowen's gonna love him. Played with our boy in Stanford in Okereke. He played on the same team with Okereke, so there's a little bit of continuity there. There's a little bit of familiarity there. Again, you go to Stanford, you're a smart guy in my book too. So he checks so many boxes. And again, personally, this is a guy I wanted coming into free agency. This is a guy I signaled. I was looking.
You nailed it, actually. You nailed it, bro.
Let's go, baby. I'm happy. As you can tell, I'm happy about this. I don't know what you guys think. Everything I get you guys. What do you think?
Number one, blame StreamYard for the intro because it was trying to connect to Twitter. It's been a different thing.
One time it's not. I would have blamed you, but this is 2 weeks in a row now. I was like, all right, this is not just fall anymore. This is StreamYard.
There's like
you can't blame Hef because Hef is like so buttoned up in real life behind the scenes. Exactly.
Yeah,
and you know
people know he's buttoned up as shit. Like he's like, dude, it got to go this way. It got to move this way. Shit got to be a certain way for Hef. So I know it's not his fault.
This is killing me on some level that keeps happening. But I think I got an idea of a workaround. But that's for neither here nor there. But either way, we're not live on Twitter right now. As news breaks, we will bring it to you. So thank you for you guys hanging out. Hit the like and subscribe and share the episode and do those things. Bartlett just dropped something in here, and
where did he find that? Where did he see that?
I would like to see where this came from because all reports are that Browns are locked in on Shedeur, which means Giants. You know, if this is true, the scenario is playing out as I feared and mentioned a couple days ago, that there is a scenario where the top quarterbacks choose better destinations and we, picking third, miss out on the two quarterbacks. We'll see how this shakes out. But if this is true, it's bad news for the Giants. But
it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
That feels like
it's the end of the world, Speed. What
so now your camera bust? Are you saying if we get nobody?
I need one of those two quarterbacks. If not, then they're gonna get Jackson Dart.
What if we just get Russell Wilson? What if we just get Russell?
I'm not
feeling that.
I'm not happy.
You're not happy with just Russ and a developmental guy like in the third round. You still not happy?
I mean,
in the third round, like if it's Jackson Dart, which he probably won't be in the third round.
No, I'm saying like a Ewers or a Milrow or some developmental guy.
it would have to be one of those. Yeah.
It got to be Dart, like because I don't think Milrow's next. So for me, it's Dart. So I'll be happy. Let's say round 2, you go pick him up. I'm cool with that. Then I'm like, all right, let's see what he got. But
so
we'll see.
Back to Adebo real quick. Giants new corner. We will, the official numbers haven't been released, right?
No, not that
I don't know why somebody would throw out $30 million for 3 years. There's no way it's that low for him to sign with the Giants. I'm sure paid this guy and hopefully got a little discount because of his broken leg that he's coming off.
I didn't mention that.
Okay, I'm sorry. According to Giant Insider, man, they're saying that he's a solid corner, but he has really no upside in quotation. So shout out to
no upside.
Yeah, there was like the upside is like I'm trying to get. Let me get the. Of
He's
course,
got some
yeah.
Twitter's down, so I can't get the exact quote. Forgive me, but we got the bigs coming on tomorrow. We can have him actually break that down too.
I want to hear what he has to say because the no upside thing doesn't make sense to me. This guy's 25. He's a third round pick.
He said in the quotation, so he got it from someone else.
Yeah. I just because again, you're looking at a young guy that's up and coming corner. Everybody, and guys that I respect are like this. They have him as one of the CB1s. If it wasn't for the broken leg, there's a broken femur. Pretty rough injury, obviously. That's a brutal bone to break. But the chances of re-injuring are not. This is not a torn ACL.
It's actually better than a ligament or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Break. It's a broken bone. It's back. I don't see it affecting him. And by all accounts, I see like clips on the IG. He's doing backflips already. He's already practicing, and he's got 4 months left to go until training camp. So I personally I'm not injured. I'm not worried at all about the injury. And if he didn't break his leg, he would have been probably one of the top corners available at this point.
Now let me say this: the Biz actually said on the Giant Insider, one of these guys, Jerry or the Biz, there is no quote ton of upside end quote with the
ton of upside.
There is no ton of upside.
That's complete opposite what you said before.
Right? There is no ton of upside. So
yeah, not a ton of upside.
Well, nobody talks like that. What does that mean? No ton of upside.
No. Adebo. He's a proven corner. That's it.
Okay. So I think he's saying a ton of upside because not a ton of upside doesn't check out.
You know what? The fact that maybe there's a little sarcasm there. Actually, I'll say that. I'll say it's a little sarcasm. He's a proven corner. I think that's him saying like bullshit.
We're quoting you. Can you please check your spelling and let us know what you're trying to say here? But either way, 25 years old. He's got a good amount of picks per the games he's played.
Yeah.
So he's aggressive, but 25 years old, he's prime. He's got experience, and the Giants certainly need help at that position. So assuming we don't make him the top paid corner in the league, it's a deal you knew the Giants were gonna go aggressive at corner. So this was one of the guys they had to get, and now we wait for the dominoes on quarterback to fall.
So I'm talking about a couple people here, and there's a lot of people that are worried about the price, right? Like they're saying it's an overpay. If the guy's a Pro Bowl player, if he's even borderline Pro Bowl, does it matter? If he's our CB1, does it matter how much you actually paid him? In my opinion, like, right?
It's a huge. When Banks becomes your CB2, and other guys can step up because there are younger guys in the secondary. We just need them to start locking down their spots, and then this secondary has potential.
Yeah. And listen, the guy want to come play for New York, right? He wants to come out here. He wants to play, so it shows leadership. But this could be, to me, and just to me, it feels like a Bradbury situation where you were like, man, we were not sure if he could be that guy. And next minute, he was that guy for the time being he was here. I think he can do that. I think Paulson can actually do that. So, will I say a legit CB1 as of right now? I don't know. It's kind of up in the air, but he can be that type of caliber player, especially if, let's just say Deonte Banks give him a run for his money at CB1 and he decides to take it, then you still have a great option at CB2. This is something the Giants had to do. We had nobody, guys. We had a Dory Jackson. You know what I mean? So who cares? Not to say who cares about the money, but if he's the in the middle of the pack as far as, what market value is for us, dude, that's to me, that's a steal. To me, that's a steal.
Right?
Of course, it's not going to be 3 years, $10 million. I don't see that. I really just don't see that. But maybe in a 15, 18, I don't know, type of range. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think that's even better, if you ask me. I don't mind paying that. I think that's their big offseason acquisition, I believe, at this point. Let's hope they got more.
Okay. So let's tackle the next position, right? Like what would obviously quarterback is your next position, right? That's what everybody's looking to get most. Now, Rodgers, it per reports, Rodgers is getting close to going to Pittsburgh. So that takes him out of I assume all the tea leaves are saying he's not going to be a Giant. Who's next on your list, guys?
Well, here's the thing.
Wilson? Is there anybody else?
Here's the thing. This is Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers all depends on Justin Fields. Like they're locked in according to some reports on Justin Fields, right? So if Justin Fields says no, we want to try somewhere else, then they're going to look at the option of the Aaron Rodgers and the Russell Wilsons there. But those are their B plan if Justin Fields don't come about. But Aaron Rodgers wants to go to a contender. I don't think he has time here to come to the Giants, man, according to some reports here. Yes, there is an offer. It's out there, but the Giants is just waiting. They're just waiting to say, yo, if you're going to come here, you're going to go to Pitt. And he's locked in on Pitt, man. And this is why I tweeted, if you don't want to come here, I'm not going to force you, man. Don't come here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at this point, the second one got to be Russell Wilson, right? I mean, unfortunately. I mean, not to say unfortunately. I mean, that's fortunate. I don't know. But, you know what I mean? It got to be Russell Wilson at this point.
Yeah, you're not excited about Russell Wilson until he's not available, and you keep going down the list of who's next and who's next, right? Like Russell Wilson can throw a deep ball. He showed promise with Pittsburgh. I'm surprised Rodgers. If I'm Rodgers, I mean, the only upside for the Giants is unless he just really doesn't want to move. If he just fell in love with wherever he's been living for 2 years and he's good here, that's the upside for the Giants. But Minnesota has like a great situation to go into. Sam Darnold is probably trying to get paid. He doesn't know how many contracts. Like this is his time to get a deal. So the Giants would have to go broke to get him, and I don't see them doing that.
No.
So I don't know why. Like
he's looking at Seattle.
What do you think the price difference is between Russ and Rodgers right now?
So I think personally, Rodgers somehow is going to get upwards of 40. He's going to get around 40. I think at like high 30s, low 40s, which is crazy. I personally, I feel a little bit more uncomfortable at that number. I think Russ is going to go in the 25 to 30 range. So you could be saving, a couple 10, 15 mil potentially. And, how much worse is Russell Wilson than Aaron Rodgers? I want Aaron, but is there a huge, massive drop off?
Speed, I'm going to flip that, Speed. I think the fact that he was a Pro Bowler last year, that Russell Wilson's looking to get some sort of money. I don't think he's going to take the short. And I think Aaron Rodgers, the fact that he came off a down year, right, and he has to prove himself, I think he's going to take a little bit of a pay cut. I don't think it's going to be up there, but
I like to think you're right, but that's
I just got a feeling. But I definitely would like to take Aaron Rodgers of the two. I just think his arm is a whole lot better than Russell Wilson at this point. Like we've seen Russell Wilson play, right? A lot of check downs, couple deep balls were there. He's a coachable quarterback. I don't think and correct me if I'm wrong, Speed, but for me, throughout the years, Russell Wilson never really thought on the fly, in my opinion. It was always a coachable type of quarterback. You put him in situations and he'll deliver for you. If you're not that type of coach where you go, hey, this is the play, you need to go to him and go to him. If you have him think, he's not going to produce for you. Aaron Rodgers will produce and like it's easy to him. This is effortless. And his arm talent is still there. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I want Aaron Rodgers, because we understand how complex Brian Daboll's system is. But when he's under duress, Aaron Rodgers is going to think on the fly and throw it to the guy that is open, and it's going to be right in his freaking pocket. He didn't lose his accuracy, while Russell Wilson will kind of give up on a play and kind of check it down, and we're going to see a lot of that stuff here. So that's the reason why I'm like, give me the gunslinger. Just give me him for a change. Throw it up to Malik and see what happens.
I'll say this. Russell Wilson at this current stage is way more mobile than Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson could still make things happen in a pocket, in a elude pass rush. Whereas Rodgers, you need a good offensive line for Rodgers at this stage in his career. Like he's not going to avoid pass rush, scramble out of the pocket and make plays on the run. That's just, it's just the way it is. But listen, when you're picking between the two, Rodgers, elite arm talent, obviously, he still has it. But Russell Wilson could still make things happen. George Pickens had a great year with Russell Wilson last year. Like there's guys that still could produce with Russ, and I think he's going to make Neighbors a better player. And imagine Travis Hunter as your wide receiver 2 now, and cornerback. Because now you got Debo, you got Banks. Hunter isn't as much needed on the defensive side at this point, whereas now he could focus a little bit more on wide receiver. Neighbors and Hunter as a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. With Russ, like he could cook with that.
Let me ask you guys this: what if the Giants don't go, like, if they can't get the top 2 guys? What if they don't go quarterback in this draft at all? They just fill the holes that they have, and they say, "All right, we're going to save the draft for next year and then figure it out as far as quarterback and be all in." Are you guys okay with that? And let's just say they win 4 games. You want them gone after that?
They wouldn't last. What do you mean want them gone? There would be they wouldn't be here to see the end of the season.
And Joe Schoen would have went his whole tenure without drafting a quarterback then.
And here's the reason why I asked that, because again, to spend a pick on a developmental guy that might not work out, might as well fill the holes and see him like, hey guys, listen, we tried to get the quarterback, we got Russell Wilson in here or Aaron Rodgers in here, and it didn't produce, but we figured to fill these holes. But there's promise. Like they're competitive. They look like a solid sound team, but they're losing by 3 points and they're trying to figure it out. You guys want them gone at this point? What if the draft picks are producing too? Like to me, and again, that's a crazy question because my mind's going crazy. With that being said, like for me, right? Let me answer that for me because that's probably my mind is nuts. But if I see some sort of promise and they didn't draft a quarterback and they don't have their guy as of right now because the top 2 are gone, which everyone could debate that they feel like they're not ready. Some of those guys, like they need a little bit more time. I'm cool with Joe Schoen. I'm like, yo, cool, no problem, man. At least you're trying to fill in the holes and his team look like it's showing promise. Then you got to go, man, you know what? Maybe they need to go find their quarterback that following. You get what I'm saying? I think they kind of last a little bit longer because, again, this isn't a rich quarterback draft. So for them to reach for one, I think is just desperation. So at that point, if it fails, you'd be like, well, they were desperate and they didn't reach up to it. So, hey, guess what? They didn't even draft a quarterback. It's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? But if they don't, that's fine. Like for me, I'm like, yo, that's fine. If you lose 3 games and you're in there in the top 3, go get your guy this time. We'll put it all on the line because the team is showing promise. That's how I feel if Joe Schoen, if that was the kind of play out in that scenario, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you don't want him to force a pick, but we're missing if we're missing out on the top free agents, then you're down to 2 mediocre free. Like you're talking Winston and who and Garoppolo. Like that's our quarterback.
No, Garoppolo's gone.
Back
to the Rams.
Oh, that's right. So Minshew and Winston would be an electric quarterback. But like that's not a serious football team. Like who are they elevating?
Yeah.
So let me just say this, man. If the Titans like are not trying to move out of one, let's just say that rumor is true. I just want to know what the offer was. You get what I'm saying? Like in that case, if you really want a guy, do the Eli Manning thing. And again, I really don't know I forget the terms of Eli Manning. I think it was a first, a second, and something else or a third. Then throw something in there to sweeten the pot. Listen, man, have another number 1. Like if you really, really in on Cam Ward and that's your guy, go get him. Go get him.
Yeah.
Go freaking get him. Add another 1.
I know. How far do you go? Because here's the deal. Next year's class doesn't look like it's like there's no rainbows shine out of next year's class's ass. You know what I'm saying? There's no guy. There's no like. So, by all counts, it sounds like they're really trying to get Ward. Like they keep going. They keep going. And realistically, if the Titans don't sign anyone, a free agent quarterback, you kind of have an idea at that point. They're all in on Ward, and it's going to be hard to convince them to not like. They're not going into the draft without a free agent quarterback and not drafting Ward. You know what I'm saying at that point? So you can pretty much set and forget at that point. But if you start seeing some like rumors about Titans quarterbacks, I think there's a chance that opens up the door. But I don't think it's gonna be for lack of trying for the Giants. Let's just say that they're gonna give it all. Yeah, but how far do you go?
Right. But here's the thing. Sometimes you got to go a little bit off the deep end and kind of get the things that you're looking for. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to overpay and overshoot a little bit. And again, I think it's enticing the fact that we're at 3rd and that, the Titans could get the generational talent and Travis Hunter or this guy in the linebacker. I forget his name that quick. Abdul Carter. But guys, like it's enticing. So it's just like if there's a number one pick, another first round pick that they want, explore that option at this point. Go get your guy.
Hold on.
Go talk to me.
What you got?
It looks like Sam Darnold just signed with the Seattle Seahawks.
I told you that, man.
Sam Darnold,
man.
3 years, $110 million. He got paid.
This is his time to get paid.
Good for Sam. All right, well, that's here. That's a name off the market now. I think now you see Fields. Then you see if Fields goes, Pittsburgh makes their decision. Then Pittsburgh makes their decision. Who does, I guess Russell Wilson could go back, could go to the Vikings. But if he doesn't go to the Vikings, where else is he going to go?
It's kind of funny because they're all just trading places a little bit and have to learn. Like, it's just because who's got the appetite to pay a certain amount for somebody. But now they're all going to learn new offenses instead of just. We got Bartlett. In case my Titan Cam rumor is wrong, he's putting some money behind it.
Yeah, let's go.
You're clear. You're good then. You're
good. Doesn't matter at this point.
You're good enough. I'm hoping you're wrong, Bartlett. Shout out to the revivalist of the month, Bartlett, man. That's our guy.
This could be the first domino that falls for the quarterback market. He could be the one that was holding things up because now Minnesota opens up. Now Seattle closes. Things start to move here. Jets, by all accounts, Jets sound like Fields is going to be that. I don't hear anything else other than Fields Jets. That's right, what you hear.
Right.
So,
you know what's crazy? I just saw the numbers. Sam Darnold only got $55 million guaranteed. That's almost 30 less than the deal Daniel Jones got, and Sam Darnold performed at a way higher
That's a good
level.
Contract because then they could probably get out, man. So shout out to Seattle for that. But I'm gonna tell you this though, Daniel Jones is still getting some whispers around the league, man. There's a lot of teams looking at him.
The truthers are beating their chest right now. But he's getting interest as a backup or competition for shitty teams.
Correct. Now listen, they have his name attached to the Browns, just to let you know. So we'll see how that goes. The Browns. They have his name attached to people. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, yeah.
I heard Vikings Colts.
That makes sense. Here's
I
another
don't
thing.
think he's going to go back there because JJ's going to come and take that spot, obviously.
Let me hit you guys with the latest rumor on the Browns. It seemed like everything you heard was Browns are definitely going to quarterback at 2. Browns are definitely going quarterback at 2. Now, someone could maybe verify this because I don't remember who put it out, but it sounds like the quarterback at 2 is no longer a lock. I'm pretty sure it was Schefter that said it. So that opens up an avenue now. That opens up an avenue. If quarterback at 2 is not a lock, you have a chance at Shedeur at 3. Potentially, if it's Shedeur at 3 or Hunter at 3, who are you taking?
Shedeur.
You almost have to. You have
to. Shedeur.
We don't have quarterbacks.
Yeah, but okay. So say we have Russell Wilson. Does that change things?
No.
Well, don't you think Russ is coming here if he decides to come here? That he wants to start for another couple of years. He's not at the Kurt Warner stage where he understands the mission, and it's a 1-year deal until the rookie's ready. Russ wants to play,
and I think he will have just be like, hey, listen, we got to develop him. At the end of the day, we still had to develop Shedeur and Cam as well. We was like, hey, these are guys are developmental, but someone's a little bit ready before the other, whether you guys can debate it or not. You know what I mean? So I think they still need to sit, and I think Russ will understand the assignment, especially if these guys aren't catching on quick. I think he's gonna go and play, man. I think he got at least 2 years as far as a rope. You know what I mean? To come figure it out if he does decide to play here to get these guys ready. And the longer they sit, I think the better. I'm gonna be honest with you. The longer they sit, the better. So you gotta go and get the guy.
I kind of disagree in terms of in theory, yes, but if you can have a quarterback play at a high level early on, it's such a huge advantage for the salary cap.
But you're already paid. You already would have paid. This year, you're not going to be able to take the advantage of that number, right? Because you're still paying Jones, and you're theoretically still paying another veteran. Next year would be the year that you could start, the purse strings start opening up. You can start pushing contracts back a year, so that way, because you got them for 5 years, right? So you're taking advantage of next year and beyond, in theory, if Wilson's only signed a 1-year deal. If he signs a 2-year deal, that's where things get interesting because I'm assuming
Well,
he wants a 2-year deal.
Here's the thing too. Like if the guys come in and they're sitting for a while, then the third year or whatever year, or that within that second year, they come in and they play pretty dang good, right? You just go, dang, all right, there's promise there. Then the next year that they actually flourish and it actually looks great. But when you go to sit down and have contracts talk, you be like, listen, man, you had to sit for a couple times. Maybe you can give you this Jordan Love deal and you can have that and then sit back and relax and see. You know what I mean? So the fact that they sit, you can still kind of negotiate a little bit less instead of for them coming in and CJ Strouding this thing, and then you got to pay them all this type of freaking money in the world. You know?
That too. Yeah.
So I just think it's a good problem to have. We'll see when it gets to.
In a perfect world, we don't have to play Shedeur year one. In a perfect world, Russ is cooking and he's learning and he's taking time to develop under Dable. We win 7+ games. And you can go into the following offseason with, hey, Shedeur looks great in practice. We're going with him. We might trade Wilson or we cut Wilson. I don't know. You have options at that point. But all told, I still think Ward is their number one guy. I still think they're going to try like hell to get him. It'll be interesting to see if the price is going up now or the leverage starts to drop. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to end, but I think that it won't be for lack of trying for the Giants part. Let's say that.
I agree, man. And like I said, man, I'm just excited to take any one of those two guys, man. Just get it done, please. If it's another first-round pick, get it done, Joe. Get it done, because if the guy is good, they don't give a crap what you'll trade away. Because look what Eli did for you. Won you 2 freaking Super Bowls. So learn from that, all right? Go give them what they need. Go get your guy and go coach him up and keep your damn job for another year or two, for goodness sake. But man, shout out to everybody. What else we got?
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. After quarterback now, what to you is the biggest need? Because cornerback is now off the table, right? Is it wide receiver? Is it defensive tackle? Is it right guard? And I think those are the 3, right? Like it's got to be one of those 3.
It got to be a guard, man. Like I mean, again, if you look at the statistics, the offensive line actually played much better than what we've seen in the past. You get what I'm saying? But still is inconsistent. You know what I mean? And plus, we had a lot of injuries on that line. So those guys that were starting can now kind of take a step back if you get one of these big name guys and then hopefully starts. But we definitely need a right guard because Evan Neal, who knows what's going to happen there because they're going to try him over there. I just think we need another one. We need a left guard too. You know what I mean? So there's so much stuff, man. I just think we need about 2 different pieces on the offensive line to kind of get that thing solidified. Hopefully. But we'll see what happens with a little more continuity too. But at least give me the right guard. That's the most important thing to me, in my opinion.
Jeff?
Yeah, they're both needs, but I've been praying to have this offensive line because I think everything stems from there. And so fix the line. So I say you got to get a guard. Ben Bredesen got paid. Did you see that?
He
got paid. We paid Runyon like $10 million more in guarantees, similar to a year deal.
But I'm not worried about that. Runyon played okay. He played pretty good, I thought.
This is part of why you needed to try Evan Neal at guard.
Sooner.
Beginning of last year, because now you got to pay because you don't know what you have in guard with him when you should know. You should know by now. And now they're open to the idea. Like, come on, man, it's too late now.
Ridiculous.
What I think is going to happen is they're going to sign a vet. They're going to sign a veteran guard, and the names that I'm going to throw at you, they're not household names. You're not going to really like jump off the page. Will Fries from the Colts, Patrick McCarry from the Ravens, Tevin Jenkins, solid player from the Bears, but injury issues galore. And then Aaron Banks, just a road grading right guard from the 49ers. That's the guy I want. Aaron Banks is the guy I want. So my thought process is Banks is on the tier kind of 2. Will Fries is going to be tier 1. If you get a Banks tier 2, you could still sign Van Roten, which I think he did Roten. He did a pretty decent job as a veteran, but you don't want him to be a starter. You want him to be your swing guard, right? And then Neal, if God forbid some injuries happen, now you have him at guard too. So your guard position is set. Like, let's set positions. Let's also get a tackle so that if Thomas goes down, you're set there. You don't have to fucking move people around and play them out of position. Set yourself up at guard with 2 guys. set yourself up a tackle with another guy, and then you're off to the races at that point.
Guys, I don't think Rodgers is looking good to the Giants, man.
Yeah,
No.
it didn't. I started to get that sense, man.
Here's the messed up part. I don't think Russ is good either.
Exactly. Why would they want to come here?
Yeah, but if you think about it, look at the Steelers off. Right, okay, Steelers offense. You got Metcalf, and I don't know if they're going to keep Pickens, but is the Steelers offense night and day better than the Giants offense?
It might just be more of a culture.
If you get a Hunter,
they know the bar is high. They know that they're.
well, yeah, there's that part.
I think that's, but it's still like I'd rather Minnesota of the two. Give me a dome and give me Justin Jefferson.
Sure,
Oh, my
absolutely.
gracious. I'm
We're
sorry,
not
y'all.
going
I'm
to
just
overpay
looking-
for the. Yeah.
When it's free agency, it's just not Shefty that gets some news, man. We here at New York Revival, we don't break the news, but we like to hear it. All right. Let's just say, you know, how they're in the streets with a fire hydrant. We're close enough to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So
You got
yeah, that changed my mood for right now, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see from there. But let me tell you this. Let me give you this scenario. Justin
wait,
Fields
hold on,
goes to-
real quick, E. The official number is 18 per year, 3 years for the 36 million guaranteed. This is a fine contract. It's
I'm
a
cool with
fine
that.
contract.
I'm cool with that.
36 is fine. Everything is fine. I'm cool with that. Yeah, just a heads up on that, which is we talked about it at that number.
I'm cool with that. And again, he's coming into, I don't want to say he's compete because that's like really not number one numbers, I guess, in a way, but he's coming in to compete for, I guess, CB1 at this point. And
Not
Deontay
even
Banks
compete.
needs to,
He should be it.
he should be, but let's see what happens and how it plays
Okay.
out. You know what I mean?
What do you
Hey,
think
Hey,
about this?
if there's a battle, that's a good thing, right? That means
I
Banks
agree.
has increased his level, right?
I agree. Like I
Yeah.
really, I don't want to say I lost faith in Banks, but you got to give him a shot, man. He was a CB1 before, and
Sure.
he held people down. We called him lockdown Banks. Banks closed, right? So
Yes.
got to give him a shot, man. So let's see. Even for CB2, I'm not mad at that number. If Banks
Right.
was to beat him out, I'm not mad at that number at all. Just to say. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Hef.
What do you think about this comment, Spee? That Adebo was rarely going against ones.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what you take risks on, guys, right? He's 25, and you take a risk on his upside. You're paying him to now you have to up your level, but he's got the physicality. He's 6'1", 190. It's not like he's this like under 6 foot, 170 guy. He can play outside. You know he can play outside. Now, yes, there's an uptick in competition now, but he's played in a division with some really good wide receivers. And even as a CB2, you have taken a lot of tough wide receiver twos. So yeah, it's a risk, but you put faith in your scouting and your trust in what I see, so that he could withstand the AJ Browns. He could withstand the CD Lambs. So I'm fine with it. It's a risk, but you're gonna have to take a risk at some point. He's
Yep.
still one of the top CBs in the market for a reason.
What are your thoughts on now? There's no rumors of this. I'm just throwing it out there. But if you're
Your
thinking,
rumor. You're starting it.
Maybe if you're thinking of a cheaper wide receiver option to add to the room, I don't know what his
Yeah.
price would be. Do you think Tyler Lockett has any tread left on the tire?
I do. I just think here's the problem with him. He's just, first of all, he's older. Second of all, he's not an outside wide receiver per se. Like he's a slot guy, and he kind of like fits in with everybody else that we have. I want a guy with a little bit more size to
Yeah.
him.
Like a
Yeah.
Pickens?
So like, yeah, that wouldn't be. That'd be something. That would be something.
Sorry.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, him and Dable,
Yeah.
the hotheads. My God.
Well, here's the thing: we passed on him in the first year to draft. We drafted Wandell over him, which was very controversial at the time. So the fact that we did that and makes me think they don't like somebody else's attitude. Which, to be fair, they weren't wrong about that. He's probably working himself out of Pittsburgh at this point with one of the best coaches of all time in Tomlin. You know,
Are you
True.
kidding me? They're really waiting for the domino to fall for Daniel Jones somewhere. So they're waiting for a Daniel Jones domino, and then after that, it should be a free for all. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
But Daniel Jones
So-
isn't a locked-in starter anywhere. Why would he
Yeah.
have any
well,
say
because what
over?
if he goes? Yeah, I don't know. What if he goes to the Titans? Like, does that change anything? Probably not. I don't know.
What is
Listen,
the
they-
Titans
they're waiting-
The Browns.
What's the Titans quarterback room right now?
It's
Who
pretty
is
sure
it?
just like Will Levis, right?
With Will Levis, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And they
So
supposedly
why-
have faith in the guy.
They supposedly have faith in Will Levis?
Supposedly, I believe the last time I checked that they were trying to go with him, but I doubt it. I doubt
I
it, especially
love
sitting at
that.
number one.
I love that Bartlett sent a super chat in case he gave us bad information. That's such a, what a classy
I
move.
respect that.
Hell
I
yeah.
respect that. Yeah. So, here's the thing. It sounds like Jones and Fields, two basically guys that are like they go hand in hand with each other, right? Like both underproduced, both running quarterbacks, both backups, probably bridge guys. They're the ones holding up the QB market, which is fucking hilarious right now.
I don't know if I buy that all that much. Like I don't know who's waiting. I think Aaron Rodgers might be in my mind. Aaron Rodgers is holding it up once he chooses Pittsburgh or Minnesota.
Yeah. Have you heard Minnesota?
I
That's
did
their
because
plan.
once
Okay,
Sam
I'm sorry.
Darnold, I heard once Sam Darnold, once he would be out, then that becomes a realistic destination for Aaron Rodgers, who is more of a Kurt Warner stage to hand it off to JJ.
Sure.
You know, for a year or until injury or whatever. I think JJ's still recovering. Is my internet delayed or am I okay?
You seem a little. Maybe I thought it was me at first, but now you say it. You seem a
Okay.
little.
I'm gonna hop
delayed when
right.
You're talking.
I'm gonna hop
All
right back.
Man, shout
Just-
out. Darius Slay is heading over to the Steelers, man. The Steelers
I
are
saw it.
setting up for
They're loading
something,
up.
bro.
Hold on.
Talk to me.
Hold
Talk to
on.
me.
Justin Fields
a
reached
Jet.
an agreement
Yes, come on.
with the Jets.
Yes, they
$40
did.
million.
Wow.
Woo!
30 million guaranteed.
All right.
2-year,
Okay.
40 million. Okay, so this
Let's
I'm
go.
telling you
Now
what's
we're
happening.
rolling. Now we're rolling.
I'm telling you what's happening. So now you're gonna start seeing a lot of quarterbacks come off the board right
This
here,
is
guys.
it.
Um,
Oh wow.
Daniel
That's more than
Jones is still at play. We got
20 million is
we got
is
the
more than
Browns
I
and the
thought.
Colts. The Browns and the Colts that could be in for Daniel
Or the
Jones.
Titans. Like,
Could
I
be
don't,
that
like,
too.
I don't know.
Titans would be stupid. Not Titans. You better take him. You better take him, Titans.
So if Fields now went for 40 million a year, do you have to think now Russell Wilson's going to go for at least 30, right? Like
At
he's the
least.
better of the two quarterbacks,
At
right?
least. At least. I
So
would say.
I mean, I like the move for the Jets. I've been a Fields guy. I still believe he's got some talent. He still needs some development. That's why I didn't know exactly if Giants. Jeff, I'm sure you saw if you didn't hear already. Justin Fields officially to the Jets. 2 years.
I
40
leave
million.
for 20 seconds and I miss breaking news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The Jets.
Yeah,
now,
so now
man.
the dominoes going. Now we're rolling. Now we are rolling. It really just where does Aaron Rodgers settle down?
I
And
already
then where
know,
does
man.
here's the thing why I think Russ might work because
Yeah, Russ.
they
might
left
have-
the meeting last year with
I forgot.
the
I never-
they left the meeting last year, and how I imagined this went was that Shane and Dable said, "Hey, listen, DJ's going to get a crack at the starting job because there's a reason why we paid him. That's how I believe this conversation went, and Mara wants DJ to succeed, and Fields said, "Hey, listen, I want to go somewhere where I can compete for the starting job." So, but I think it left on good terms by all intents and and purposes. I think it left under good terms, and it sounds like there's been at least talk with him again. So if it left on bad terms, there wouldn't be talk, right? The rumors of Russ to the Giants wouldn't be there, in my opinion. So I think there's a real chance, and again, depends on what he wants. But you always hear, Sierra, his wife, loves New York, wants to be in New York. Happy wife, happy life. You get to throw to Neighbors. You might be able to go throw to Hunter. Hey, listen, Neighbors, Hunter, Tracy, and a new guard. That could bump your numbers up. That you have weapons to work with there. And who would have thought we would be saying that? But that's a pretty dynamic offense.
Guys, I'm gonna just leave and I'm gonna try to hear some exclusive, but I just got a message, so give me 1 second. Hold on.
Rogers, something with
Keep going.
Rogers. Something with Rogers happening.
Eli knows something.
Yeah,
He knows
well,
something.
it sounds like Rogers to Pitt is going to happen. I mean, at least that's what fucking Florio says.
Broken by Lord Puffalot first. Lord Buffalot had it first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the tea leaves are fucking saying that. It seems like Rodgers to Pitt. So now, as per Lord Buffalot, now it comes down to where the rest of the dominoes fall. And here's the thing with Minnesota, man. Like, you signed Russ to a 2-year deal. Like, what does JJ McCarthy think? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
First round pick quarterback.
3 years? I mean,
and now he had surgery before last season, so he should be back. Almost nothing.
He had a clean up like halfway through the year, but by all intents and purposes, again, he should be good. But the thing with JJ is he's always needed a little bit of development. That's the word of the street. So, like, I get wanting a bridge quarterback that could take the first 8 games or so, but if you're signing Russ, that's not a first 8 games.
No, that's what I mean. Giants are playing it both ways because they don't know, they don't have control in the draft, and this is why it drove fans crazy towards the end
but
of
I'm saying
season.
from Minnesota standpoint, why would Russ pick Minnesota if you got JJ waiting in the wings and you sign a 1-year, call it a 2-year contract? Like, is it the safer bet that you're going to get more playing time with the Giants right now?
So if you're saying, for playing time, Giants' job looks more available,
right?
But in the big picture, if say the money was equal, he could go play in a dome, which he's never done. He would get to play, with a great offensive-minded head coach, arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. There's reasons to go to Minnesota. They just turned Sam Darnold's career around.
Sure.
Got him another contract.
Absolutely.
And so Russ but Russ has to have an understanding that in his 30s, you can play as long as you're doing well, right?
Yes.
Like you're not irreplaceable, and most teams are going to have a plan B if you come in. So I think he understands that. Even the Giants should be drafting, but that's the thing. Like, if the Giants are able to get a top 2 pick, this is why it sucks that free agency is first. If they were able to get a top 2 pick, then give me Jameis Winston to start a few games, because this year it's not about this year anyway. Then at least you keep all that money that you're going to throw at name that quarterback just to miss the playoffs.
Absolutely. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this shakes out. Here's the thing I want to say one more thing about Paul Adebo. This just came across. So he's got a lot of penalties, second most since 2021. Leads all defenders in pass interference and defensive holding penalties.
Well, take them.
Yeah, listen, he's a physical corner, and that's what you're going to get with physical corners. But you know that now, but you also know that he's got 10 picks. So are you taking the playmaking ability that he has at 25 with the penalties that come with it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you cool with the penalties if it's coming with all those game-changing plays? Me, I'm still betting on that. I'm still okay with the good with the signing, knowing that there's going to come with the pass interference. He's physical. It's part of the deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, yes. Like, we need turnovers. We've been one of the worst teams in the league at creating turnovers. Like, you have
Banks is not doing that. Right.
And if he's going to be, Banks, I think, had 0 collegiate interceptions, or at least his last year in college, he had 0. So you need ball hawks. You need guys to make plays. So at least with the penalties, that can potentially be coached to be improved.
Right.
But as you see with Banks, if you're not a ball hawk, you're probably not going to turn into one, right? So
right.
Give me a guy that's going to go try and make a play. Yeah, we're losing anyway. You may as well try and intercept it. That's where.
All right. So I don't know if I got a straight answer for you guys yet. So after, all right, no. So you guys said guard. I think, are you guys both on the guard thing after quarterback? Is that the most important one?
You can make the case for defensive tackle or guard.
Wide receiver. Who's a wide receiver 2 at this point?
Good question.
You have guard, wide receiver 2, defensive tackle, and another one who, this has recently been catching some steam. Safety, is a spot that it doesn't sound like Pinnock's going to be back.
No,
they want to pair Newman with somebody, and I think there's more upside to Newman than we saw year 1, and I think what you need next to him is like a center field type of player that it's a ball hawk, another ball hawk. Like, Pinnock really wasn't that, I love Pinnock back as like a third safety.
Yeah, like he flashed here and
Yeah.
there, but
Right.
I like C's. Thank you, C's, for the super. We let teams walk down the field without penalties. Who cares?
Facts.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
Very true.
May as well
And-
go try to make a play.
Actually, now that he says that, like literally our problem was teams are running it down our throat. And where were they running it? On the edges. You got a guy now at a defensive back position that can make fucking tackles, like a sturdy run defender. So now that I think about that even more, I like this Adebo signing even more than I did just 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah. So this is my guy, Josh Palmer, and wide receiver 2. And I know everybody that's played fantasy recently like knows that Josh Palmer, every time wide receiver went down for the Chargers, Josh Palmer has stepped in and really produced. He's done well. And granted, he said,
Was he number 5? Ball. Was he rocking number 5?
Yes. Yeah. Hold on. I don't. Was it? Yeah.
I think so. He's a bigger body, 5 or 7. I forget what number he was, but he was a bigger body.
You're right.
And a pretty good. I thought he was pretty good. Like that's a nice compliment potentially to Neighbors, right?
Yes.
We want some size. We need something like that.
That's it.
Like Seattle's
6'1", 210.
Seattle's been spoiled with like that trio of receivers that they have there. But like having that dynamic ability, like you can get so creative, and then you can't double everybody. So you double this one. I'm going here.
We don't have size for the red zone at wide receiver. 6'1", 210. He's a 3rd round pick, so like he was talented coming out. In his second year with the Chargers, when he got the most playing time, he had 72 catches, 800 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he's had over 500 yards the last 2 years. Very limited playing time, like less than 10 starts.
And they ran the ball a bunch this past season.
Ran the ball a bunch. 25 years old, coming off his rookie contract. These are, again, the Adebo and a Palmer type are guys that you're betting on their upsides to continue to progress when they are given a step up. So like step up to CB1, step up to wide receiver 2 now, as opposed to wide receiver 3 or 4 that Palmer's been. And the price for Palmer should be right because he's been so limited in like his snaps and games played. So that's a guy I want, and I had on my list too. That's a guy I want them to target. And that way you get a hunter now. And it's almost like you're playing with house money. If you have injuries at one position, wide receiver or cornerback, you could slot him in there. Vice versa. See where he's great at.
His ability to reach his ceiling, potentially playing on both sides of the ball, like is so dependent on where he goes. And I would be fascinated to see how he would fit in with the Giants and like what kind of teams would know how to use him the best and win, like situational.
Yeah.
Does he play both ways? Maybe just in the 4th quarter, if he's not running. Right. You know what I mean? Like there's so many options, but he's kind of a one of a kind coming out.
And then do you use him too much? If you overuse him, and he's not the biggest of dudes, like from a physical standpoint. So like you overuse him in the NFL, there's a chance of breaking down. And I don't know if you're doing good in the playoffs. If you get an injury history at that point, there's that worry for sure. I agree. With you.
Do you play him on defense when you're only in nickel, right? And you got some extra defensive backs on. For the Giants, I think he would be more of an offensive player, for sure. But has he officially declared, or he actually keeps saying he wants to do both?
Yeah, it sounds like he's still like trying to do both. It seems like. It's dependent. He's not closing the door on any side, so it's smart of him to do that. Teams view him as a CB1, they're going to draft him. Teams view him as a wide receiver 1, they're going to draft him. So smart of him to do that. Contingent on. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I was just reading some. I don't think I'd be surprised. Yeah, all right. So
look at Adam Schefter in the middle of our screen here, getting calls in the middle of a show, just muting himself while SportsCenter rolls on.
That's terrific. So yeah, listen, defensive tackle is a big thing, right? Like if you could sign a decent guy in free agency to start next to Dex next year, then you draft a guy in the first 4 rounds because this is a big defensive tackle draft. You've now went from 0 depth at defensive tackle last year to loaded up at defensive tackle. Where do we need to compete the most against the teams in our division? We were getting bullied in the trenches.
Yeah.
Get yourself a guard, get yourself 2 defensive tackles, and line up the trenches, man. Get better in the trenches. That's what we want, and that's what I think needs to happen, dude.
I would agree with that. You're not wrong for saying, the next priority is defensive tackle after a quarterback. Like I'm definitely in rack support over there. Oh, that's a good one.
Great.
Okay, I'm back.
Yes,
I'm ready.
welcome back, Ian Rack support, everybody. Ian Rack support.
Over. That's so funny. That is so funny. Listen, let me give you some scenarios. All right.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not into breaking news. We don't do that here.
We're not breaking. We're just giving him news. We're
not gonna give you anything like that. We're not Ian Rappaport here. But let me give you a scenario. All right. Russell is out. Rodgers is out. Right. They go to different teams. Looking at probably second or third tier quarterback at this point. Who are you going with? And I'm gonna start with you, Speed. Who are you going with?
If Russell Wilson's out and Rodgers is out, that's the stipulation.
Can you give me the three that you were considering, like that would be in this tier?
What? Winston, Minshew. There's somebody I'm missing right now. Hold on. Who else we got? Oh, God.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
I'm not even counting him because it's just absurd to think about.
Imagine.
Hilarious. There's Kirk Cousins too, right? Well, no. Is he officially? He's not on the market officially, right?
He's not.
You'd have to trade for him,
and
he might
take all that guaranteed money. By the way,
and he looked cooked last year. Like that's not.
Yeah, I don't want any part of him.
We don't need to be giving up more draft picks just to miss the playoffs. Stop it. Stop the bleeding.
So here's the thing, and I guess okay. So Eli, this is my guy. I always wanted Jameis Winston. This is I think he would provide some. Well, first of all, fun times offensively. I think he's going to chuck the ball all around. He's going to throw some picks too. He's going to throw away some games, but he's a guy I wouldn't think twice about drafting another guy behind him to replace him in, right? He's a prototypical bridge. He's going to cost no money. And if a quarterback falls to you in your lap at 3 that you love, you can still take him and not think twice. But you don't have to draft one there either with James Winston. Good for the locker room, good financially. So that's my guy. That's my guy as my next option. It might not be the best, but
I'm going to agree just because I'm tired of we got to stop the bleeding at some point. We keep falling behind because we didn't draft well. Then we overpay. And then we're trying to make up for it in the draft. And what Speed was saying about defensive tackle, can we sign one and draft one? Then all of a sudden we got depth. But we need to do that at wide receiver, at offensive line, at quarterback. We're so far behind the 8 ball that we need good draft after good draft after good draft to get behind, ahead of all of this. So give me the cheap quarterback because we need flexibility. So give me Jameis Winston at this point. And then you got to draft one somewhere. If you miss out on the top 2, figure it out. You got to draft one anyway.
All right, I'll say this, man, right? You can't get any one of those 2. Then, of course, you got to go with a veteran presence at this point. However, the Giants' priority, and has to be priority, is to go all in on a quarterback in the draft. All in.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. It has to happen. Because if the Giants can't pull this off, those guys are out the door. Hands down, those guys are out the door. That's them being competitive and et cetera. Because I said earlier that if they look competitive with Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, then you go, man, they lost some games, but at least they look competitive a little bit. And I'm telling you right now, you sound Jameis Winston, it's not going to be competitive football. He's going to throw some picks. It's going to look ugly. It's going to look crazy. And he's going to give you great sound bites. I love Jameis Winston. Shout out to you. We just had a nice, wonderful conversation. So shout out to Jameis, man. But again, I just don't see in a perfect world these guys keep their jobs. So all in. You sign your veteran quarterback, whoever you feel is ready to go.
Who's your guy then? If it's not Jameis, who's your guy?
Jameis. It has to be. He's the best available one after that.
All right, so
trash. So
yeah. So you're saying that these guys are gone. You're expecting these guys to be gone in your scenario, right?
Oh, I'm expecting them.
All right. So because you laid out the scenario earlier where they don't draft a quarterback, right? They just draft good players. Get all these good players. Right. You go with Jameis. You go with DeVito, and maybe you take a flyer on a guy like Schuff later on, like a developmental quarterback in say the 4th round or whatever.
Right.
So in that scenario, we still probably win 4 or 5 games and they're gone, right?
Correct.
So yeah, all right. So essentially, it's for you. It's trade up to 1, or
all in, because that's the only way. That's the only thing that's going to keep their job here. Because then
Russell Wilson.
That they're both gone.
You don't think
they're both gone, right?
Oh,
let's just say they're both gone. All right, in the scenario, they're both gone. Let's just say it, right? I'm telling you right now, if they don't get a quarterback of the future, they're cooked. Because then it shows the incompetence of Joe Schoen the entire time. You signed Daniel Jones, it didn't work. Then what was your plan B? If you thought Aaron Rodgers was, or you thought the Giants was this pristine organization that they used to be, then you misevaluated the market again. You messed up on seeing what's going on. To Hef's point, you haven't got the quarterback position right as of yet in your tenure here. You know what I mean? So it's either, okay, let me go all in, add an extra couple pieces here, and go from there and see. But again, if they don't get the quarterback of their future, these guys are out the door. And again, you're looking at Jameis Winston, it's just not going to work. So the new regime is going to go in there with a proper draft pick and hopefully get the quarterback that they're looking for. But even next year's class is not looking good, so who knows? But listen, I'll tell you this: is even Jameis Winston, if you want to take a dart, because I'm telling you that's going to be a strong option on the table, is you take Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? But again,
here's the problem with Dart.
Future's grim.
Here's the problem with Dart. I think it's pretty much a lock that he's going in the first round at this point. There's even talks about him being potentially the quarterback too. I don't think that's very realistic, but the fact that there's even conversation means someone's going to probably take a chance on him at quarterback too, right? So how do the Giants draft him, right? Like, he's not going to last to 34, in my opinion. I that's why I don't think the Dart thing. While I think he's a good player, I just don't think it's realistic, because I don't think you take him at 3. That's too high, and he won't last until 34. That's
and that's their plan C, right? It's just like, like you really waiting for plan C to figure this one. Oh my gosh! Listen. We'll see what happens. You know, this is just scenarios, guys. We don't have any information. This is just scenarios.
I like it,
dude. But like you said, they need to go in to get their quarterback. Like whatever you're going to be relying on, whatever free agent to win you games and to keep their jobs. It's unlikely going to be a rookie that lights the league on fire for the Giants, even if we get the guy we want, just because that free agent is going to be able to ruin the season before the rookie gets in there. But then Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are gone, and you've got another situation where your head coach and GM, who are new, did not draft this guy. And now it's another situation of let them get their guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so at some point we got to stop the madness. And so I don't know how they keep their jobs. And I'm sorry, I hate to be negative. I just don't see it. And I was like, before last season, I was super skeptical about Joe Schoen. And in my Giants chat with Lord Puff-A-Lot and TK and Chuck, I was going off about it. I'm like, I think he's clueless. I don't think he knows what he's doing. They were like, whoa, negative already. Like, come on, the season didn't even start yet. And I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry. Let's go Giants. And then the year was a fucking disaster. And I just like, I don't know how he doesn't mess this up more before he leaves, because it's the same thing how we got like at the end of last year against the Colts, right? And yes, this horse is dead. It's over with, but it's why we're here. And if it always goes up to John Mara, Daboll and Schoen having to, win those games to save their lives, and Mara being a guy who's like, no, if you tank on my watch, you're fired. Being that way is what led you to not having control right now. Yeah. You could have made like Neighbors was playing hurt against the Colts. He could have easily been rested. You could have run the ball a lot more than throw it. You could have done a lot other things than score 45 points to ensure you have the number 1 overall pick without tanking. You could have just made certain decisions. But no, Mara waits till the end of the year, then decides to keep them. Now they're screwed because they can't get a quarterback. Like, we can't get out of our own way.
Right.
There's no alignment.
Right, let's just.
All right. So listen, I'm sorry. Yeah. There will be another domino falling very shortly.
Go ahead.
There'll be another domino falling very shortly. That's all I can say. And it's going to put everything into perspective.
I'd say 2, probably.
There will be another domino falling as of right now. The second one will probably be later tonight or tomorrow. But there's definitely one that's coming down the pike any minute now. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, so De'Ami Brown is another one of these wide receivers that was like a second tier Josh Palmer kind of guy. He just went to the Jaguars for $10 million. So that's a name that's out in the second tier of wide receivers. I think what it comes down to, let's going back to Russ real quick. The guy threw for 16 TDs and 5 interceptions in 11 games last year. You extrapolate that out. Those are numbers we said about how, Aaron Rodgers' numbers from last year would probably be the best that we've had in a decade, as a Giant. Same with Russ. Like Russ's numbers, I'd sign up for 16 and 5 over a whole season, let alone, 11 games with what he did with the Steelers. Those would be good numbers for a New York Giant quarterback.
It's funny how we get this information, but tell you right now, the Giants are definitely on the phone with Jameis Winston. Let's say that.
Oh yeah?
They're definitely on the phone with Jameis.
Well, listen, they should be, because what if it all falls? What if Russell Wilson falls apart?
I'm giving y'all clues.
Right.
Just got to take it and run with it. I'm not going to say anything, but you just got to take it. Read between the lines.
Yeah.
So well, they have to. I mean, they have to start thinking about Plan C and Plan D, because they thought they'd be able to do, draft their quarterback and get the free agent they want, just because it's their turn to. Now they have the liberty to do that because Daniel Jones is gone. It doesn't work that way. You forgot that you didn't make a bed anybody wants to sleep in, and now you got to deal with it.
And you know what? And I know Giants fans, we're gonna lose our mind because we're like, man, we can't have competitive football. But in this season, let's just say Jameis Winston is your guy, right? And they don't draft a quarterback. At this point, just root for what the future could possibly look like once we do get our guy, I guess, at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think you'll hear a lot from Malik Neighbors. They're going to go with a whole different regime here, right? So at the end of the day, we're probably going to have a crappy season. But I guess I would say this to Giants fans. If all of this scenario play out as far as they don't get their quarterback as far as free agency, and they don't get their quarterback via the draft, and they just get a bunch of players here, just look forward to what we have. And hopefully Joe Schoen did a good job to lock in the future for the rest of the people that's going to come in here, because I'm telling you right now, nobody wants to come in here for this organization with a lame duck GM and a head coach. It's just not enticing. It's just not. So even if they would have come in and Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson was to come in and win you 5 games, 3 games, 4 games, those guys are probably going to be fired anyway. You know what I mean? So who wants to come in and do that and learn a whole new offense at this point? And this is where we at as a franchise, guys. We're just not enticing to anyone. And this is why I think after the playoffs, you started seeing some people sign here a little bit. Like you started seeing a little shake in the bacon. Like people wanted to play for New York because they were like, oh, they're on the rise. But this past couple of years, it's just hasn't been good. Nobody wants to come here at all. At all.
I would say nobody. We just got one of the best cornerbacks in the market right now.
What if I was to tell you that was their plan C? What if I was to tell you that?
That Jameis is plan C?
No, that their cornerback was their plan C. What if I was to tell you that? Would you believe it?
He's still there, one of the better quarterbacks in the market. So I don't care if like plan A, plan B, plan C. Doesn't really matter to me. What? Because you're saying those other dudes turned them down. Yeah, like if I'm DJ Reed, I'm picking the Lions over the New York Giants. Yeah, that makes sense. Lions are a Super Bowl contender. But still, like I'm sure Debo had other people to choose from. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted to come here. He's still one of the top CBs in the market. So I don't really care that it's CB3. Like he's still one of the best guys in the market, in my opinion. Okay. So I don't know, man. When it comes to me, like you saw that. Daboll still graded out as a good head coach, right? The players still like him. I think you're still coming to New York City. I think that's still a draw. As much as it's not as much of a draw as it used to be, I think Debo came out and said he loved coming to New York City. That's a word on the streets that he wanted to come to the city, And I do think money talks at the end of the day. Like these players this is a once in a lifetime chance for these players. You're gonna be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to play for that team. Like, I'm gonna take that money. It's not at the end of the day.
True. I mean, but again, you're talking about also Joe Schoen, who is he's a little frugal with money, right? Like he doesn't shop hungry, as he says, and all this other stuff. And he holds true to that. He holds true. So otherwise, he would have gave Saquon money or Barkley a boatload of money. You know what I mean? So he doesn't go above what his thing is, and he's very disciplined in that. So
At
yes,
certain
he can go
positions, yes.
right, but in this point, I really think he's that type of guy that's gonna go. I don't care what it is. I'm just not gonna go above this asking price. You know what I mean? And that's it. And again, it shows desperation if you start to throw money at a situation, and then the fans gonna go, "Hey, you overspent. What's wrong with you?" So I think he understands. Like, listen, this is my ceiling. I'm not gonna go past that. Would you call it stubborn? Probably. Who knows? Maybe he could be right. I don't know. But we all know how Joe Shane works, and some of these guys just don't want to play here. They don't feel like they're a contender. And a guy like Aaron Rodgers, with Pittsburgh just went to the playoffs, he's coming in and being that vet guy, which seems to be ready to go. They're just missing that key component as far as the quarterback position. He's going to go there. He's definitely going to go there. And Russell Wilson still feels he has something left in the tank, so he's going to go to a better team than the Giants at this point, because he's not going to know what his future holds when he does come here. So
let me ask you this: do you think Seattle is a better spot than the Giants before Darnold signed? No, no DK Metcalf, no Lockett now. Do you still think that that's a better spot? They're a rebuilding team by all intents and purposes, right?
They are. That's why they got rid of Geno Smith. So
why did Darnold pick Seattle?
He's starting. There's no competition there.
Starting and most money, maybe.
Yeah, right.
But that's exactly it. That's my point. I think here's Eli. This is what you got to think about. You're talking about Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and I think what it comes down to is the player at that point of their career, right? Like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers want to go to the best spot that they can win in 1 year, right? But if you're talking about a guy that's trying to sign a big time contract, I think that they don't really worry about what's going to be their next year kind of deal. You're signing a 4-year deal, 5-year deal. You're probably outliving the one coach and going to the next one. That I don't know. I think you have to take into account where the player is in their career. I don't think they care as much about the quarterbacks, like the head coach position when you're a young and ascending player, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they worry about spot as much, They're going to – like, Dex signed a contract with us knowing full well what the scenario was going to be. Andrew Thomas, knowing full well we've been bad for years. Like, at the end of the day, they're going to go where the money is. That's what I want to say. Like, the younger players. Older players, I get it. Like, they want to win right away. That's why we're in the predicament we're in with Russell and Rodgers particularly, because – we're not the number one choice because we might not win next year, and they need to win next year. So I get that. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like,
I just don't think the Giants aren't attractive to a Russ or an Aaron Rodgers. We are attractive to players who need a job and want to stay in the NFL. Sure, think about it. Jameis Winston was like, "Yeah, I'll go to the Giants." Like, he wants to. He doesn't know. He's unemployed. He just wants to stay relevant and keep those NFL checks. Only last so long. He wants to stay in the league. So, we're attracting the Minshews and the Winstons, the Mariotas, the guys who just want to be in the league. We're not attracting the good veterans.
That's just terrible. But hold on 1 second.
Holy shit, a super chat.
I'll have to catch up on here.
Okay.
I'm focused.
Let's catch up. Let's catch up.
Oh, see.
Yeah. Well, you got it. You got a fact. You got how much is Mara involved in this whole thing? I don't know, because I think Dolan has backed off a little bit. I think Dolan, and maybe that's what he's saying. Like, Dolan has backed off, and Mara
we need a Leon Rose. We've been talking about it. We need a barrier below John Mara to keep him away. So I agree with
he's caused this whole issue. I truly believe that. And now, how much is he still involved in this aspect? That's the question. I don't know.
Is this Bartlett?
No.
Another player gone.
Damn it.
Missing out. Bartlett.
Yeah, he's right. 3 years, 36.
Yep.
Yeah. Damn, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
What to do.
Here we are. We got Greg C.
Revivalist of listen, he's revivalist forever here. Everybody that's a revivalist of the month, they got the keys to the kingdom. So come back on anytime, brother Greg. You got a key here, Greg. Man. So shout out to you, brother. Holy shoot, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I got y'all. I'm on it. I'm sorry.
End of the day, it's night. Perspective of Giants better with new GM and head coach instead of Lane Dunn. Yeah. I mean, listen, you could definitely say that that's the case.
Yeah.
But here we go. But you got Milton going to the Patriots and the Eagles. You got Josh Sweat going to the Cardinals. This is good, by the way. 2 defensive players, really good defensive players in the Eagles, getting plucked away. But again, these young guys are signing with bad teams too. Like these guys are going. The Patriots are right there at the bottom of the league. Yes, they have their quarterback.
Yeah, but
is Milton Williams signing with the Patriots because they have a good quarterback?
Well, they have Vrabel. They have a quarterback. They've made a few moves in free agency already, and I think they're probably going to. They're not done at all. I think Patriots are one of those teams trying to make big moves right now.
Sure. But
I mean, they're certainly a better spot than we are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Martin Talk Sports. This is a new fan. That,
it's no one.
He's with you guys. He said incompetence of this organization is mind blowing. Worst run team in the NFL. It's embarrassing. No one wants to come here. We're the New York Giants, man. What the frick?
And it's true, man. Like we're such this. What happened to the history of the Giants, where everybody's like, "Yo, I want to come to the New York market. I want to play. I want to win here." We just don't have that anymore. Like you see the other teams. Like thank God for Julius Randle for actually bringing the Knicks to a destination spot for Jalen Brunson and all these other guys you're seeing there, because now we have competitive basketball. All it takes is one person to say, you know what, I want to do this and I want to make a difference here. And the record's reversed. And I'm telling you, everybody is going to want to come here and be part of this success. It's just what it is. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And we have to prove ourselves as of right now. And I don't think it's going to be this season unless they go all in on a quarterback. Let me say this again. I don't think we're going to have a good season unless they go all in on one of these rookie quarterbacks. And I don't know if that's the case, but we're not going to be relevant until 2027 or 2026 at this point. And we just got to just hold our breath and hope everything will work out for the best in the future. So a once proud organization is mud in the league, and rightfully so. They did it. Dave Gettleman started it, and it looks like these guys are somewhat finishing it here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It should have cut bait. Like at the end of the day, John Mara should have cut bait, but that's another story for another time.
Sorry, this Bartlett one just made me laugh, dude. Talking Giants while watching free agents pass us by. It's so fun to be a part of. Like there's a scenario where like this just gets worse before it gets better. Like when you're talking about that one person that needs to come here, I think it's all about the quarterback. Like wide receivers will come play for less to play with a certain quarterback. You know, who is it? D-Hop. Like he probably was thrilled to go to the Chiefs. Like what an opportunity for him. Like that's what players want. When they have years left on their prime, they'll take less money and the rich will get richer that way. But the Giants are, I think I explained it yesterday, as we're on welfare, getting taxed at the highest rate or something like that. Like it's so hard to get out of this. You know, you saw the Browns stay in this for decades. When you can't get out of your own way, you gotta, but it starts by being smart with money and drafting well.
Yeah.
So
that was a great analogy.
Oh yeah. Nailed it.
It's or welfare. You got Wick and all. Like that's so great. That is so
brutal,
great.
Dude.
Sorry.
C's again. Can you imagine if they held Jones and traded him this offseason? That's smart. We aren't there.
Listen, nobody was pissed off when we released him last year. It would have been
nobody was
smart, but like it just was best for both.
Well, it got weird, right? Because it became it became all about the injury guarantee, which if you traded him, the new team would take on that injury guarantee, I believe.
Yeah, which they would.
Which nobody would have touched it, and he had no value really. Like
no,
it would have been fair to bench him for Drew Lock to try a different quarterback.
Yeah.
But the injury guarantee moved him to third, and then we, started Tommy DeVito over our backup that we paid $5 million to. That's just the way we do things around here, guys.
Fuck it, bring back Drew Lock.
Dean, this is a new super chat as well.
Oh, Dean. Yeah. Hold on, you get the air horns. Welcome.
Unfortunately, when Mara said they was bringing these guys back, we already knew the season would be gone. If we don't get Cam, it's looking grim. Hey, listen,
I agree.
I don't I don't begrudge anybody for thinking that way. It's we need. There's no light at the end of the tunnel until we get something substantial at the quarterback position, which is tough because we sat here and said, hey, we don't want. We gave Joe Schoen shit because we're like, oh, he's gonna go all in and do something crazy and overspend. But if he did do that, we'd give him shit too. If he doesn't do that, we're gonna still give him shit because he didn't do enough to get this team to where it needs to be, right? Like, it's essentially a no-win situation right now for Schoen, unless he somehow doesn't spend a lot of resources and gets the guys that we all want. So
yeah, like lightning isn't striking again. It struck in 2022 for these guys. It's not happening again.
Son of a bitch. I'm sorry.
And even to be fair, we were not necessarily banging the table. You got to pay Saquon whatever he wants. If he paid Saquon, we would have maybe had another win. Saquon probably would have got hurt. And we would have been like, you idiot, you paid a running back.
Yes.
This, like we would have given him shit. But the move, if you don't want to pay somebody, trade him. Get something back.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
And this is what is interesting about the safety position, right? Like there's talks about the Giants now looking at safeties. You can't, as a GM now, shop at the top of the safety market after letting McKinney walk last year and not trading him. It just looks so bad. Bad.
That's why.
But I mean, it depends on what he spends, though. Like, right? If he spends on a guy like a Cisco, like this guy, a 25-year-old, nice defensive back from the Jaguars. If he goes out and gets a guy like that at a decent price, we'll say okay. But if he spends at the top of the market again at that spot where he didn't want to spend at the top of the market last year, you look incompetent. So
it looks desperate. And
yeah.
You don't want Mara too involved, but at the same time, Joe Schoen needs to be checked. He can't just have a blank checkbook and be able to do whatever he wants. Right? This is dangerous territory that we find ourselves in. You don't like who's and Mara, like you don't trust Mara to be like, no, that guy's not worth the money. Mara doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, man. I just want to say this, and I'm gonna go on record. Cam or Shedeur. That's all I want. Cam or Shedeur. Make it happen. Do what you got to do, Giants. Please do what you got to do. Cam or Shedeur, man. Get her done. Let's hope Daniel Jones go to the Browns, right? Because then you can go, okay, that's a potential guy that can start over this guy's case if he gets hurt again, because he just ruptured, I believe, his Achilles again or something like that. Deshaun Watson, am I correct?
Yes.
So, hey, let's get Daniel Jones in here to start. Then we get another veteran backup. You know what? Maybe we can wait a little bit, and we don't have to get Shedeur. We'll just go get a wide receiver or a linebacker per se. So let's just hope that Daniel Jones goes there. If not, then he's going to the Colts. Then you'll see exactly what the Cleveland Browns are probably going to do there. So I'll say this though. Come on, you believed in Eli here, Deion Sanders. You said, I believe in Eli. You should say that. I actually hear it. So I believe in Deion Sanders, brother. Let me just bow our heads real quick before we say this sermon. Dear Deion Sanders, I'm talking to you, brother.
We need music.
Let's get the music going. Yeah. Let's get the music. Let's bow our heads here. Dear Deion Sanders, it's me.
It's me again.
It's me again. Eli Rax, Spiro, Mr. Glass Half Full, and of course El Jefe. We are here bowing our heads to you, Mr. Deion Sanders. Please tell Shedeur to not go to the Cleveland Browns. Now I'll tell you, you want to do what you gotta do. Okay? We want you to rise up.
Oh shit.
And we want you to talk to your son and say, no, we're going to pull an Eli Manning. You will not go to the Cleveland Browns. Let me get a amen. Let's hope that's the case. But we done bowed our head in grace. Let's just hope that's the case, guys, because that's all we have right now, especially if Cam goes number 1 overall, which is looking like it might. So we want the church today.
Yeah, let's make some moves. Listen, we're gonna close it down for now. If there's another move that happens, we're gonna try and go live again for you guys. We'll try and do our best to go live or at least have reactions Keep your ears to the ground. Let's hope for a quarterback in the next day or so. Reverend Rax, let's go.
Let's go.
Reverend Rax.
Who would have thought we have Reverend Rax up in the
Reverend
building
Rax
here?
is here. I think I'm gonna
Kinda-
start
kinda works,
bringing that
yeah.
character out here in next
Reverend
episode.
Yes,
Rax.
get the
Confessions
what's the clock
of
on?
Reverend
Yeah.
Rax here. I think that'll be great for the next video. Have I'm just saying, Reverend Rax,
I like
the
it.
over the top Reverend.
I like it.
We are gathered here today.
Today to tell you today the Giants are just gonna stink until 2026.
Oh God.
But let's
Let's
say
go.
this, guys. All honestly, we're gonna try to keep the positive momentum, guys. I'm positive. I'm optimistic that the Giants will hopefully get something done. I really do hope we draft a quarterback of the future because that will only save, I think, their jobs here at this point. But let's hope that Deion Sanders pull that, and say, hey, listen, he doesn't want to go to Cleveland, but let's be honest, Cleveland is more enticing than playing for the Giants at this point, right? But me knowing how Deion Sanders is, he is a brand guy. And what other place to play for and turn it around for his son is New York, right? So you go, hey, listen, if you turn that around, if you win 6 games, you're a hero. If you play hero ball a quarter or two, you're a hero there, and they're gonna love you forever over there. And it's just gonna be great marketing for him. So let's hope that's the case, man. Because right now we're not getting any veteran quarterbacks besides probably the second tier. And again, we're still waiting on Daniel Jones to figure this part out. And
What a
let's see
world.
how the dominoes
What a
fall.
world.
Let's see. Let's see.
Everything bouncing Joe Shane's way.
But yeah, but guys, I know. Let's try to get out of here. We're gonna close this down because we got to get to our families.
We'll leave the mic set up, okay? We'll leave the
One of-
studio
one-
open.
One of the OL offensive guard options, Makari, that I mentioned for the Ravens, just signed with the Jaguars. So take him off your list. Now it comes down to Fries or that's my guy Banks. I need me some Banks. Let's go. Come on. Get a guard. Set the offensive line. Set it.
So, guys, I'm gonna say this, man. Tomorrow we have the Giant insider Chris Bizignano coming on the show tomorrow at 8:30, top of the hour, guys. You don't want to miss that. So please, if you can, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so when we go live, you guys can get all the updates and get all the inside information regarding free agency and the Giants with our guy Chris Bizignano of the Giant Insider. And then after that, we do have another guest. And then after that, we have another guest as well. And you'll start to see promo come out for those particular guests, guys. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe. If you're on X, don't forget to hit that follow button. Please hit that notification bell as well when we go live. Hit that thumbs up, guys. This is how we get these great guests, and we're part of the algorithm and all that good stuff. Shout out to everybody, man. This is probably our largest audience on YouTube that we had so far because X is down. That's usually a chunk of it. But I've seen some people show out today. So congratulations to you guys. We do appreciate it. All the new people as well that super chatted in here. And of course, this is brought to you by Revivalist of the Month, Bartlett. All right. Bartlett.
That's right.
You too.
You gotta get Bartlett on here.
Revivalist of the Month, just to let you know. So
And
Bartlett,
Greg C.
whenever you're ready.
And Greg
And
C.
Greg C. And Greg C. He's forever the sponsor here. We got to start doing this here. All right.
And remember,
Greg C, of course.
the money we get is all going towards a very good cause right now. We're going to the draft. I don't know if you still have the video, Jeff, but we
sure
are
do.
going to Green Bay, and this is all going to a good freaking cause. We're getting somebody good at 3 or 1.
Oh, trade
Or
up
you-
to one
or-
would be so much more fun. We get to work on that
It would be.
quarterback.
It would be, but
I'll
I'll tell you.
I'll close this out with that video. I got it ready.
I like it.
Go.
I like it. Bye.
All right, we're gonna say goodbye. Okay.
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
I'm sorry. It's your boy Eli Rax, aka Vibes. Of course, that's Speed. And of course, it's El Jefe. Guys, we out of here, man. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow or later today, depending on what we do. So, holla. We outta
Bye.
here.
Come on, John.
For me, right, for me.
Go on, get it. Go on, be somebody.
What?